Bob Thomas, editor-in-chief of Club and Resort Business, and welcome to the Club and Resort Talks podcast. Today's podcast is sponsored by Club Essential. Club Essential leads the private club industry with its Essential Suite, the award-winning, fully integrated platform that transforms club management with offerings including accounting, CRM, mobile app, POS, reservations and spa management, single source payment processing, and more. The Essential Suite connects every aspect of the club operations. Learn more at clubessential.com. Before we get into the news, I want to let you know that our guest today is Spencer Potter, founder and CEO of ClubGrub. He's revolutionizing the way clubs are delivering food on the golf course, and a recent data dump from 2024 reveals that the hot dog is losing its grip on the top spot at the golf course. I think less than 5% of mobile orders on the golf course are including hot dogs. Oddly enough, one order had like 260 some dollars worth of food, and included like four lobster rolls, some margaritas, transfusions, Snickers bar, which more my speed, that kind of stuff. So it added up quickly, but that's found money for the club. Anyways, without spilling too much of the tea, stick around and Spencer will explain to you how ClubGrub works and how it can benefit your club. Uh, with that in mind, I want to get to a few pieces of news that are coming across my desk this week. Starmount Forest Country Club in Greensboro, North Carolina, enlisted golf course architect Chris Spence to redesign the course in a manner that brings it stylistically closer to the course from 1931. In addition to a new state-of-the-art irrigation system, the upgraded drainage and environmental sustainability is a top focus. Very good on them in Greensboro, North Carolina. I think I stumbled upon that course not too long ago because of what they're doing there, and good on them as far as the environmental side. We just had Christine Kane a few weeks ago on the podcast, and she talked about some of the certification that the Audubon International is bestowing upon these courses that are working very hard to work with the environment. So that's something to consider. Winnetka Golf Club in Winnetka, Illinois, earned a designation as a certified Audubon Cooperative Sanctuary. I should have said, hey, speaking of that, it's highlighting the club's commitment to wildlife conservation, sustainable maintenance practices, and environmental education. Andrew Garner, director of agronomy at the club, said, our team has worked tirelessly to enhance natural habitats, support pollinators, and implement eco-friendly practices across the course. There's so many different things you can do, even if you're not going through all the steps to become certified. There's so many terrific things you can do at the course that's going to benefit the environment. Leave some natural areas there. Also lowers maintenance costs. Some bird boxes for native birds, bats, everything. Pollinators planting certain plants for butterfly habitats. Go to Audubon International, and they have all kinds of helpful tips that your course can do, whether you want to become certified or not. Last but not least, on the news side, I got some sad news. We're going to end on a low note here. Desert Dunes Golf Course in Desert Hot Springs, California, has struggled with environmental and structural hurdles throughout its history, and it is permanently closed. While the course's infrastructure required significant and costly maintenance, it just wasn't financially feasible to remain open any longer. They are trying to work the system to become a public, not a park so much, but kind of protected land. So you're not going to be building a Walmart or an Amazon warehouse on property. It's going to be something that's hopefully, if it can't be a golf course, it can return to nature and benefit the environment. And we're all looking for environmental efficiencies. So sad news from Desert Dunes. I think there is a former hockey player that was general manager out there. I'm sure he's going to do fine for himself, but Uh, it's never pleasant news to share a golf course closing, and I know California is struggling right now with the wildfires, but beyond that, it's always drought situations. It's always uh something out there, beautiful properties that are being lost in the fires. And it's just a shame to see. Boy, let's end on a bummer. I should have had one more piece of news to end on an uplifting note, but I'm not going to fill that void with positive news, unfortunately. I will tell you, however, that Spencer Potter is coming up next. So stick around for Spencer and learn more about ClubGrub. Hello, and welcome back to the Club and Resort Talks podcast. I'm joined by Spencer Potter, founder and CEO of ClubGrub. Spencer, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Hey, fantastic having you. I met you last year at the CMAA in Las Vegas. Brief visit, but I've really gotten to know a little bit more about your business. But I want to tell everybody else, what is ClubGrub? Give us the 10,000-foot view.
Yeah, for sure. So we're a mobile ordering platform similar to DoorDash or Uber Eats, but tailored for the golf course and country club environment, even resorts as well. And what it does is essentially allows golfers a more convenient way to order from the clubhouse or the snack bar or the halfway house, and a more optimized way to kind of capture those orders for club operators and make their operations a little more profitable and help them capture all those previously missed opportunities or underselling of hot dogs and things of that nature, which I'm sure we'll get into in a little bit. But that's the long and short of it. We have a GPS technology embedded into our app as well, so it actually shares your live location from the time you order until the time that order is delivered. So if you're on the second or third hole, you place that order, but it's not ready till the fourth. The clubhouse will know exactly where you're at, and they just shoot right out and drop it off to you. So it's really convenient.
Well, the next question would be, how'd you get started with ClubGrub? I mean, obviously there's a big gap in the industry, so you're filling it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, honestly, I've had this on my radar for about 15 years. It officially started about 5 years ago. I about 2010, I was served this really rubbery hot dog on a extra stale bun that was a bit of a light bulb moment, and also kind of disgusting at the same time. Where I was like, look, somebody's got to solve this, right? Like, I can see this awesome restaurant, or I know this, the Clubhouse restaurant has really good food and beverage, but why can't I access it? Why am I stuck with whatever this little snack bar has at the turn or wherever I am? So right around 2020, the technology kind of got up to speed where I know we could create a product that would be tailored to the golf course environment, because it's a unique space, right? Each operation is not only different, but it's a moving target. So if you are looking to deliver onto the course, that golfer is moving in essentially a large wooded area. So, for clubhouses to take that guesswork out of where that particular golfer or member is, was the biggest challenge. So we had to kind of custom build all that fun stuff.
Okay, well, let's not bury the lead. We're talking to you because of a report you just released. I think it was 2024 stats.
Mhm.
And I mean, the headline to me, being a hot dog aficionado, is that the hot dog might be losing its grip on the top spot. Wait, tell us a little bit about the stats you're seeing about the hot dogs in general.
Yeah, so what we found is, if you give golfers more options and more opportunities to place those orders, if you give more menu options and more of an on-demand experience so they can order when they're actually hungry, not have to either A, wait for a bev cart to circle the course and maybe find them with some light snacks, or B, have to just scramble into a halfway house trying not to hold up the group behind them. And what we found is when you give them all these modern conveniences that we're all used to off of the course, they were ordering pretty much everything but hot dogs. Over 95% of the time, we were finding they were, ordering fresher, more elevated menu items from, fresh sandwiches and chicken sandwiches and all the other fun things that clubhouse restaurants offer. But now that they're able to offer it on, or order it on essentially all 18 holes, or at least order ahead and be able to have it ready for them when they hit the turn.
Well, I shared with you that I stopped eating hot dogs at the turn because it just weighed me down. And I was finding myself, I'm not a great golfer to begin with. I'm a 10. So bogeys are part of the game. But I found out
Mhm.
that, man, 10, 11, 12, I was struggling right after having
Yeah,
that big old hot dog. And then I loved it in
yeah.
the moment. But so a chicken sandwich, maybe some maybe an egg, I don't know, egg salad, whatever they got going on there, something that's a little bit lighter, right? Lobster rolls, I'm not so sure about though.
Yeah, well, like I had mentioned, we work with a lot of really nice clubs that have some excellent food and beverage programs. So some of them do offer some, higher level menu items like lobster rolls, which personally I love lobster rolls. I'll eat them anywhere. So if you offer me a fresh roll, I'm going to eat it as long as it's probably after 10 a.m. or so.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so I mean and I think that's just where the trend's going, right? I mean, if you look even in recent years, even 10 years ago, ballparks, if you went to a baseball game, they would only offer hot dogs and pretzels and things of that nature. Now you just kind of see the evolution. So, I think the sports certainly headed that way. And, we're here to help kind of bridge that gap through convenient technology that anyone can use of any age.
So one of the stats that I saw was the most expensive order was lobster rolls, right? So 260 some bucks, I think it was on the golf course.
Right.
That's found money, right?
It is, yeah. So instead of club operators or club, course restaurants having to settle for just water and hot dog sales, they can elevate those ticket averages to sell more premium items. And sometimes that's, a premium whiskey that they have, or, another type of cocktail where, we're not just settling for whatever's on the bev cart coming around and also holding up pace of play, but also, being able to access whatever's in that halfway house bar, right? And a lot of times that's some higher end cocktails. There's margaritas are trending now. Women are ordering like wines and healthier menu items like salads and things of that nature. So it really just kind of broadens the entire horizon of what golf experience can be, rather than this medieval hot dog that we were all just kind of stuck with, right?
So maybe I get my first hole in one. I order a little Pappy Van Winkle from the clubhouse, right? It's not
That's,
doesn't
that's
have to just be a
exactly
Bud
right.
Light.
You're exactly right. Yeah, and honestly, that's actually happened a few times in our app. We've heard about it that people were like, "Yeah, was one of their buddies hit a hole in one. We need a round of something, right?" So, that's a time to celebrate, and that's just one of the many kind of use cases that we see. Obviously, that's a special occasion, but just in general, I think not having if it's a daily fee course, not having to kind of stop before your round or carry on all that, just knowing that there's a reliable food and beverage source out there, that you can just show up if you work in the mornings and play in the afternoons, or somewhere if you're playing late morning but you need a lunch at some point, that you don't have to just settle for the hot dog anymore, and this just kind of opens up a lot of different opportunities for everyone.
Now, I'm sure a lot of your partners have experienced a nice uptick in business. Can you share any maybe some success stories?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of our clubs are seeing anywhere from 30 to 45, I'd say 42% maybe. Sometimes it's a brand new revenue stream, but on average, any given outlet, especially when there's a consistency to it as well, our individual outlets are seeing, over 30% growth, which is really nice. And some are just unlocking brand new revenue streams that they just hadn't had before. They didn't have a beverage cart at all. Now they're able to extend their operation all the way onto the course. So that's kind of unlocking brand new revenue streams, brand new experiences in ways that they just weren't able to do before, because either they had to buy an expensive bev cart, staff it full time, or they'd have to build a very expensive snack bar or hospitality structure out in the middle of nowhere, which can set them back millions as well. So there's a lot of different cost savings benefits as well, that we're seeing, which is really interesting. Just once you give them the technology, these great operators are finding cool ways to run with it.
So anything new is sometimes, whoa, let's take a step back, right? So I'm
Yeah.
sure, as far as like the GPS delivery system and adopting the mobile ordering app, it's a challenge for some. How is ClubGrub addressing those challenges and making the transition a little bit easier?
Yeah, honestly, user-friendly technology is everything, right? When we were doing our initial R&D, we realized that any technology that this industry was going to adopt, because it's so traditional and very resistant to technology and change in general, and I think that's been because historically technology that's come into it has not been very user-friendly or easy to adopt. In our case, most clubs can get up and running in under an hour in our platform. So they can go from, the 1900s to 2025, in the snap of a finger with their own custom menu and the technology, QR codes ready to go. And each member or golfer can sign up in under 30 seconds, and they only need to do that once. So once they're on the platform and have our app downloaded, they're good to go. So it's going to detect if they're playing at different courses. And if they have ClubGrub there, they can order again. So it's going to be very similar to DoorDash or Uber Eats, where there's a lot of versatility to it. But most importantly, on the operator side, the B2B side, for them to adopt it, it just needs to be very easy to onboard, easy to understand and easy for staffs of all different generations to understand how to use it and process orders and things of that nature.
So integration with the existing POS system, seamless?
Yeah, so right now we're POS agnostic. That's a great question. And that helps us expedite not only the onboarding time, but also reduces the cost of some of those integrations. So everything runs through a tablet and then they pop it in their POS as if somebody just walked in or called in an order. So it essentially automates the entire order taking process and solves about 95% of their problems.
No, I think that I'm gonna throw out a staggering number because I think the
Yeah,
report said there's a $2.9 billion in lost revenue.
that's correct.
That's a big number, obviously across the industry.
Yeah.
What are some of the first steps a club can do? How can they reach you personally? And is there some kind of research they could do along the way?
Yeah, well, look, I think if you look at the shifting demographics, right? Obviously, the sport's getting a lot younger, but even golfers that are in their 50s and 60s and 70s and sometimes even in 80s, I think just the bottlenecks and all the friction of the ordering process now, either having to wait for a bev cart to circle the course or having to scramble into a halfway house. Sometimes if it's a daily fee course, then you got to bust out your card, and then there's a card transaction, a receipt. All those little frictions and pain points get entirely eliminated in our platform, essentially. But I think that they just need to find ways to extend their reach and realize that, the industry doesn't love hot dogs. Golfers don't love hot dogs as much as the industry thinks they do. It's really just been a product of those ordering bottlenecks and pace of play issues that has forced us into thinking that this is the only solution, where in fact that there's a lot of other opportunities out there, and we can really unlock that, particularly with this tech savvy generation that's kind of the driving force, the newest driving force in our industry.
So statistically speaking, hot dogs are about 5% of your orders.
Mhm.
What items are you seeing that maybe are a surprise to you, or what is the one
Yeah.
that's taking the industry by storm right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, chicken sandwiches are popular on and off the course, right? So I think I see a lot more of that. I think, just fresh sandwiches. Obviously, it's a lot of handhelds. If you're talking about people that are actually golfing, not talking necessarily about driving range bays and some of the other use cases that we're seeing where, people are doing pizzas and, they have tables and they're able to, or in simulators, they can have a different type of menu item. But on the course itself, fresh sandwiches are always going to be in style. And then in terms of beverages, we're seeing a lot more craft cocktails going out there, not just your typical, vodka sodas and transfusions. It's well beyond that, which is really cool. So a lot of the clubs that we partner with have really cool beverage programs and weekly cocktail specials and things for the Kentucky Derby week, and all the other, milestones and holidays that kind of come along the way and stuff too. So it's really cool to see just the evolution of it. And, I think the hot dog is, it'll always be on the menu, but I think it'll just dominate a lot less. And honestly, because of the trends we're seeing, it's, less than 5% of our orders contain hot dogs now. So it highlights that golfers do want a variety if you're able to offer it to them in a convenient way.
So I can order a maybe a mint julep during the Kentucky Derby, or
You
order
get
a
multiple.
pimento and
Yeah,
cheese sandwich during the
that's
Masters.
exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening out there too. And it's fun, right? And it gives you a little taste of the season and stuff, and kind of switches up the same old experience out there versus like you said, a can of beer and a hot dog or bottled water or something. So this allows them to kind of extend their reach and really capture all of those previously missed opportunities and turn that into revenue too. So operators this really is a win-win kind of for everyone.
Sure, and I'll get you out on this one, Spencer. I always
Sure.
ask people to grab their crystal ball, right? Look into
Mhm.
the future, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. Where do you see not only ClubGrub on the micro, but maybe the F&B offering on the macro happening at the clubs?
Yeah, well, I think on the F&B side, I think it's going to be you have to meet golfers and members where they are, right? They're moving targets now. What we notice is the trends is that members don't sit in the clubhouse the way they used to. The previous generations, they play the round, they go to the 19th, they'd have a whole dinner. Now, the younger generation, anyone under 50 or 55, they're still in the workforce. They have very active family lives. They're a captive audience for 4 or 5 hours on the property, and you need to figure out how you're going to reach them and give them the best experience possible in that window before they leave. Ultimately, where the industry goes, it's going to be like autonomous delivery and drones and things of that nature. That's ultimately, that'll save on the labor cost side as well. And that's, yeah, and a lot of cool things in technology. I can't speak on all the things we're working on, but those are some of the things in the pipeline that we would love to be the leader of.
Yeah, I see down at the Grove, right? Michael Jordan's course. Not only do they have those super fast golf carts, but they also
Right.
have that drone delivery for a little what do they call airdrop or whatever they is it what air raid? What do they call when you're
It's airstrike, I think is probably
airstrike?
the term. Yeah, yeah. There was a company that did something similar to that back in the day. They're not in business any longer, but yeah, they do a line of sight. We were looking at something a little more AI automated, that you basically just press a button and it'll know exactly where you're at and it'll come find you. So I think that's ultimately where all this heads. But FAA needs to clear some things as well. There's some hurdles and roadblocks in that space too. But that's if you want to look probably 10 years out, that's what we're looking at. Yeah, that's
Wow.
exciting
Okay.
stuff.
I was going to ask you about AI. So you've got AI on the brain. You know what's happening, right?
Of course.
So,
Yeah.
what is the best way for a club? I'm a club. I want to get a hold of Spencer Potter. I almost said Spencer Pratt, and I told you I was going to. Spencer Potter. I want to get a hold of
Yeah.
you and ClubGrub. I want to learn more about ClubGrub. I want to institute it at my club. How can I get a hold of you?
Yeah, definitely. So our website is clubgrubapp.com, APP, like application, or you can just email Spencer at clubgrubapp.com and we'll get you all the information that you need and get you up and running within about an hour or so.
Fantastic, Spencer, man. I really appreciate your time, and I'll see you at the shows coming up.
I'll see you definitely at CMAA. We're exhibiting there. So if you're anyone attending can stop by our booth there and I'll see you personally at the PGA shows at some point as well.